Hi everyone, thanks for joining us in this webinar. Nice to see you guys again. I am Ina from the Octoparse support team, and I have Scarlett sitting with me. In our last webinar, you have learned some basics about Octoparse and how to use the task template and auto detection to build a task. Hope you have enjoyed that. Here is today's agenda. I am going to show you how to build a task manually using Octoparse Advanced Mode to scrape structured pages or deal with more complicated pages when the auto detection fails. Scarlett will then show you some data customization tips. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can type your message in the Zoom Q&A box and we will answer your questions. We also have a Q&A part at the end of this webinar, and Yenny will host that part. Now I will start with the task building using advanced mode. Auto detection looks quite amazing since Octopus detects all what we want and it generates a workflow for us. But it only works for well-structured pages, like a list of products or a structured table. And there could be some cases that it does not detect what you want, or the web page layout is too difficult for it to detect. But even if auto detect fails, we can still use the powerful advanced mode to manually create the workflow from scratch by using simple clicks and points. October's advanced mode can truly uncover the world of possibilities for you to scrape information from nearly any web pages. With advanced mode, you can extract data like text, URL, image URLs, and HTML codes. Or you can interact with web pages to perform complicated actions such as login authorization, keyword searching, and switching through a drop down menu. Advanced mode is quite flexible to let you adjust your workflow and reformat the data. Okay, now let's get started. Let me start a new task with a URL. And here we come to the task editing workspace. We can see the web page is loaded in the built-in browser. And when you move your cursor over the elements on the web page, you can see that they will be highlighted in blue. And if you click on it, the tips panel will show the options to you. For example, we select the product title, and from the tips panel, you will see four parts. On the top is a message that notifies you what element has been selected and whether there are similar elements or sub-elements found. And in the middle are the action options that you can do to the element you have chosen. At the bottom shows the HTML path of this selected element. If a target element is difficult to select with the cursor, you can click on these tags directly to locate the element. Or you can click this button, expand the selected area. For example, now the title is selected, and if I click this expand area button, now you can see the whole product section is selected. The last one is a undo button, which helps you to just cancel the selection. This is the basic logic of manually creating the task. It's quite straightforward. You just select the data you need on the web page and then follow the instruction provided on this action tips. Every time you select an element, the tips panel will pop up with a number of options for you to choose from. Simply follow the instructions provided and choose how you'd like to proceed the selected data. For example, if you'd like to scrape the text of the product title, and we choose extra the text of the selected element. Or if we like to click on this product title to go to the linked page, we can choose click element. After learning the basic logic of how to use the tips, we will show you how to build the task to scrape data in some popular scenarios. Firstly, we'd like to demonstrate how to extract a list of data on the page. Contents on a web page are usually organized in some kinds of patterns. One of the most commonly seen patterns is a list. Here is an example. You can see that the product title, the prices, and other information are all listed in the same way. And this is what we call a list of data. And this kind of web page, we call it a listing page. Other examples you can imagine like Google search result page or social media posts page, etc. They all display the information in a similar format. Okay, we will use this e-commerce page to show you how to do it. In this listing page, we want to scrape the title, the price, etc. from each product listed. And here we will choose the first product section firstly. Note that you must include all the information you want to scrape in this highlighted area like this. Do not only select the title or the price separately. After we choose the first product, you can see the notes here on the tips that Octoparse has found some sub-elements. Sub-elements means the smaller part of the information inside this section. Octoparse will divide these sub-elements into different columns. If we want to scrape the sub-elements, we can choose Select All Sub-elements. And then you will see that other similar products with the same sub-elements will be detected automatically. And then we choose Select All here, which means we want all the sub-elements to be scraped from all the products. And now you will see on the tips it shows 5 fields selected and 8 lines captured. You can check what are the 5 fields and how will the data be scraped in the data preview. You can see that the data from each product is scraped line by line. And now, okay, we can choose extra data. And there will be a loop created in the workflow. If in some cases that the sub-elements cannot be detected, for example, you don't have this option on the tips, and there are no similar elements found, we can firstly select the first product and then continue to select the second product section. Note that the two sections should be the same. You cannot select the whole product section from this first product, but only scrape the product title from the second product. Okay, now all the product sections will be detected. And here we choose extra text from the selected element. A loop will also be created, but you may find that all the information from the product section is scraped into one field. If we want to separate the fields, we can go to the first product. You can see it is highlighted in green. It's notifying you that to only select information from this highlighted area. Okay, here we select the title and we want to scrape the text, so we choose extra the text. Then choose price and also extra the text. If you want to scrape the product URL, select the product title that contains the URL and also make sure the A tag is selected. So we click A here. A tag always contains a URL, and you can get the option of extract the URL. Okay, this is for how to extract a list of data. Next, we will show you how to click each product link and get the information from the detail page. Let's take this web page as an example too. The product title can be clicked and it takes you to the product detail page. If we wanted to click these links one by one and get data from each product detail page, firstly, we select the first product title. You can see Octoparse detect other similar links on this page, and here we can choose select all, means we wanted to select all the product links Octoparse has detected. And in case Octoparse does not find the similar elements, we can also continue to select the second product link manually after selecting the first one. That will also help Octoparse to detect all the elements with the same pattern. And then we choose loop click each element. In some cases, this option might be loop click each URL. It means to click the links selected one by one. Okay, Octoparse will now open the first product page automatically. From here, we can manually select any information we want. For example, I choose the product title and choose extra text of the selected element, and do the same to other informations like I need the price and the category and the description. If you click on an image here, there will be an option of extracting the image URL, and you can choose it to scrape the URL if you want. And if you choose a text with a hyperlink, you will have the option of extract the URL. This is how we click a list of links to get data. But what if we wanted to scrape from listing page first and then go to each product detail page to get other info? It's quite easy to do it. Firstly, let's create the steps to scrape from the listing page. We select the first product section, select all sub-elements, and select all and extra data. Okay, the loop has been created now. From here, you can see there is an option on the tips. Click on links to scrape the linked pages. We can use this option to select an extracted data field to click on if we have scraped the URL as a field. Or we can choose click a link on the web page and then select a link we need to click manually on the web page. We can also do it manually by just clicking on the first product link, which is within the highlighted area. And then you can see the option click element, or in some cases it could be click URL. Then after choosing this option, now you can see the detail page is opened. And then we can scrape the information from the detail page like what we have shown before. Another common scenario we'd like to show is pagination, which means to get data from multiple pages of the same page structure. The most popular way a website uses is to divide the information on different pages. All the elements are shown in the same way, and we need to click the next page button to view the info page by page. In Octoparse, how can we create the pagination action to help us get more data? It's really easy to do it. For this kind of web page with a next button, we can easily click on the next button and then choose loop click single URL. This option means to click the single element over and over again to the last page. In some cases, this option could be loop click next page, or loop click single element, or loop click single button. All these options can be used for the same purpose. After choosing the option, a pagination will be created in the workflow like this. Another way of paging the info is to use a load more button. Every time you click on this button, the website shows more information. Let's look at an example page from Capterra. It has a View More button on the page. Then when we click on it, there will be more elements loaded to this page. We will need to click this button over again to get all the data. To create a pagination for this kind of page, the process is the same as what we do to Next Page button. We click on the View More button. Choose Loop Click Single button. A pagination will be created in the workflow, and from here, we can then build the step to collect data. We can select the first section, select all, extra text. The last way of pagination that we want to cover here today is the infinite scrolling. No button needs to be clicked. The website loads more information automatically when we come to the end of the page. For example, this page, you can see when we get to the bottom of the page, it will load more products. Octoparse can simulate this kind of scrolling action easily. The scrolling is added in the loop as a loop mode. So we need to add a loop to the workflow. Then select scrolling page as the loop mode. Then you can define how you want the page to be scrolled. You can want it to scroll for one screen every time or scroll to the bottom. This depends on how the page is designed. Some pages will load more during the scrolling process, but some pages may only load more when we reach the bottom. Then we need to define the repeat, which is how many times you want Octoparse to scroll, and the wait time, which is the interval between two scrolls. Then you can build the steps of scrolling data. Okay, we select the first product, select sub-elements, select all, and extra data. Then this workflow will help to scrape the data during the scrolling. Scrolling option can also be found in the Go to web page or click item actions. Here in the option, if one page needs to load specific elements after we scroll the page, we can set this up. Till now, what we have shown is all about structured pages, no matter if it is infinite scroll, load more pages. The elements displayed on the web page are all well structured. But we have some cases where we may need to deal with more complicated steps before we get to this kind of structured pages. For example, we need to search some keywords or select options from a drop-down menu. Or maybe we need to log into the website before we access any data. Now we will show you how to use Octoparse to resolve that. Let's start with searching keywords. For example, let's say we need to scrape lightning cable products from eBay. Before we get to a product listing page, we may need to search the keyword lightning cable on the eBay and then click search to get the list of products. So we need to input the keywords and then click search. Let's see how we should make Octoparse to do it. As we need to input the keywords on this search bar. So we can click on it and then we have the option enter text. And here we can enter the lightning cable and confirm it. Then you can see there's an option of enter text created in the workflow. And then we need to click this search button. So we select it and choose click button. And there will be a click item created in the workflow. And here we get to the product listing page. And it is easy to scrape data and create pagination from here. In case we need to search a list of keywords on this web page, we can create a loop in this workflow, and then select the mode as text list. Enter the keywords here, like lightning cable. Oops. Okay, make sure you have one search term on one line, and then we confirm it. Click apply to save, and then we drag this enter text inside the loop item. And we click this and go back to the enter text. Then you have the option of use text in the loop to enter the text box. We tick this and click apply. Okay, and this is for this enter text to use the text we have input in this loop item. And then we drag this click item inside it too. So this will input the list of text we have entered here one by one on this web page. And if you wanted to know which keyword the products are from, we can select the search bar again and then choose extra text box value. Okay, this is for extracting the input keywords as a field. Besides inputting the search keywords, the enter text feature can also be used when you need to input the login info on a website. For example, I want to log in on the eBay webpage to get some data related to my account. I need to open the login page first. So we need to click the sign in button here. And as I want Octoparse to click this button, so I choose click URL. And the login page will be opening in the built-in browser. Here I need to input the username. So I click on it and choose enter text and input my username, which is my email. Okay, and I confirm it. So here now I need to click continue. And I select it and choose click button. Okay, here I get to the password input box. I select it and input my password. Okay, now I need to click sign in and click button. Now we are logged into this web page. But you may find that the login process is quite long and takes much time. How about we make it shorter? An easier way is that we can log in manually with the browse mode. And then we can save the cookies. Then the login info will be saved to this task. So we turn on this browse mode, and in this mode we can click anything we want, and there won't be any actions created in the workflow. So we just click sign in, and here we enter the email manually and continue. Also enter the password, click sign in. And then we just go to web page action and click options. You can see the use cookie option. And we take it and choose use cookie from the current page and save it. Then the login info will be saved to this step. And you won't have a long steps of logging to this website. Now let's see how to deal with the drop-down menu. Drop-down menus contain a list of options, as you can see here on this page. If I click this, and you'll see a list of app options to choose from. We need to choose the make and then choose one of the models. And then we can click find vehicles. Then it will show us a list of products. So how do we scrape this kind of page? We can click on the first drop down, and you got the option loop through the options in the drop down menu. So we select it, and there will be a loop created in the workflow with a switch drop down inside it. This is how Octoparse switches drop down options. We can continue to select the second drop down option and choose loop options again. A new loop will be created. It will be created within the first loop item. If there are more drop-downs, we can continue to repeat the steps of creating the loop item, and all the loops will be nested like this. If you want to choose specific options from the drop-down menu, you can modify the XPath of the loop item here. For example, if I want to choose only the third option from this model, from this mix, and I can enter position equals 3 and apply it. Then after we refresh the step, you'll see only one option here is located. For more about how to use this function, you can check our tutorial later after this webinar. And what if you want to take the drop-down menu as a field? Quite easy. We can just click on the drop-down and then choose to extra text of the selected element. Okay, and then you can see the drop-down menu value is added as a field. Now we can click the find the vehicle and then choose click button. A structured page will be shown now. Okay, that's all for how to manually create the workflow from scratch. Just remember that the basic logic of talking to the tips is that you select one element on the page and then follow the instructions shown here on the tips panel. Now let's welcome Scarlett to show us how to customize the data views.
Thanks, Ina. Before I begin, just a reminder to everyone that please feel free to leave any questions you have in the chat box, and one of our panelists will get back to you. So customize the extracted data. Once you have all the data extracted from your target web page, you would definitely want to do a little bit of cleanup so that your data will look more in order, or if you have a desired data format for a certain data field, for example, some date or time format extracted from your target web page might not in your desired format, you would want to reformat them in this step. Also, by refining data format beforehand in Octoparse can save you trouble to do it after exporting your data in Excel or other formats. And you can do so by going to the data preview under the built-in browser. You can adjust the size of the window so it will be more convenient. And we'll start with renaming all these field headers because by default, sometimes Octoparse is just showing each column as text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. To rename them, just double click And this would be the title. And by hitting enter, Octopus will automatically go to the next field header for you to edit. And this would be the review. And because the field header is not very helpful before we rename them, sometimes you might get lost or confused what this column actually is and where does it came from. So by hitting one of the data, you'll see in the building browser, there is a highlighted part that indicating where this data was extracted from. So we'll know that this would be the reviewer. This would be the contributions and the helpful votes and the date of stay. And this would be the rating. And in order to clean up the extracted data in below, there are a few different options that Octopus offers to fulfill different scenarios. You can click on More next to each column field header, select Clean Data, and by click on Add Step, you'll see different options. And let's go through it one by one. Replace is pretty straightforward. You can utilize these options to replace a certain part of the data with a desired output. And this output can be text, can be number, it can be symbol, blank space, or even a line breaker. So for example, in this case, as the field headers already indicated that these two columns are showing the number of contributions and the number of helpful votes. So we can remove all these contributions and helpful votes in the data fields to get a pure number of both, so that after exporting the data in Excel or other formats, we would be able to count the sum or average of these two columns. So let's do it by click on More, Clean Data, and we add a step of Replace. What we want to do is to replace this part of the text with nothing. Just leave it blank. Remember to always include this blank space in between the number and the contributions. Otherwise, the remaining part would be a number plus a blank space. Then you can always evaluate the result to see if it matches our preferences. Then we click Confirm. You can also check on the output preview here. Then if everything looks good, apply it from here. Then we go to the next field and we do the same thing. We do Clean Data, we add a step of Replace, and we want to replace all this field with nothing, leave it blank, Confirm. The output looks good, and we apply. And voila, there we go. We got a pure number of both. And you can always adjust or remove a step you've added by also going to More, Clean Data. And we've got a pen for edit and a bin for remove. So let's try to remove this one, Confirm. And always remember to click on Apply to save the changes you've made. And let's check the next one. We've got replace with regular expression and match with regular expression. As Octopus has a built-in regular expression tool, you can always click on Not Sure About regex, try the regex tool. And what we want to do is we want to extract this part of the original text. So we will start the regex with anything before the part and end with everything after the part. And then we can generate a regular expression with the regex tool. Always remember to click on Match All, and then we match to check on the results, which is exactly what we need. And we apply it and confirm. and apply again. Then we got all this rating with the exact results we want. And let's check on the next one. We've got trim space. So Octoparse is offering 3 types of spaces trimming, to trim the start, from the end, or from both. You can choose upon your needs. Add a prefix or a suffix are both pretty straightforward as well. So let's say if this 10 is indicating $10, then we can add a dollar sign as a prefix. Then the output would be indicating $10. And next, we've got reformat extracted date or time. We can choose a format that we prefer. Let's say I prefer to know that which day of the week that this customer stayed. So we can choose this format and we click on confirm, apply. And then voila, there we go. And for the last two, timestamp conversion and HTML transcoding are not very commonly used, so we will not cover it in today's webinar. Right, and that will be all the content for today's webinar. And no worry if you missed some of it, because we will send out the link of the video and you can check on it after. And we will now move to our Q&A session. So please feel free to type in your questions now.